Welcome to the agenda meeting, July 31st, 2023. Please rise and salute the flag.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty, and justice for all.
Councilman Hanlon,
Here.
Councilman Lewandowski.
Yes, ma'am.
Councilman Niles.
Here.
Supervisor Molino.
Here, and with the first action we're gonna have is a possible planning board applicants. We're gonna interview them. The board will ask a few questions here and there. We hope not to take up too much of your time. So Francis, would you like to be first? If you don't mind, you have to come up to this seat and talk in that microphone so that people out in Neverland can hear you.
Nothing on my desk. Probably nothing on the. Not much.
Go ahead.
How are you today?
Yes. Do you know the board by any chance?
Not really.
Okay, this is Mr. Niles, Mr. Lewandowski, and Mr. Hannon.
Nice to meet you.
Why don't you tell us about yourself?
Yeah,
Background accounting. That's what I did all my life. I'm retired now. I grew up in Lake George, and that's where my parents were. My grandfather had a lot of land in Lake Luzerne. He actually had the reservoir before it broke down and they sold it off. I still have stuff that's in their family since the 1800s up on the dirt road up there.
there's a couple.
Reservoir Road?
Beach Road.
No, it goes all the way to the top of the mountain. It's got Anderson Brook on it. I can't think of the name because I want.
Butler Pond area,
Huh?
the
But-
Butler Pond area.
It's all APA up there,
Oh.
but it's all dirt roads up there. But anyway, I've had it. I've kept it. I will never sell it. I own it 2140 Call Street. I want to give back to the town. I'm just that kind of person and I'm retired and I can donate my time, whatever is needed.
Well, just so you know, and also, we're looking for one right now.
I understand. And there'll be
You
another.
got
one
that
opening.
word, okay, because, and then another one at the end of the year when
Right.
a board member is gonna, a person is gonna come on the board and we'll have an opening. Or unless something happens in between.
Okay.
Okay, so that's good.
So you grew up in Lake George?
I grew up in Lake
Oh,
George.
where you went to high school? Lake George?
My whole family history of it. Grew up on French Mountain. My family owns part of French Mountain on the backside.
Who was your fifth grade teacher? Do you remember?
Oh, you're gonna. Was it Mr. Daly?
Okay.
I'm trying to think.
My
there-
mother taught 35 years, fifth grade in Lake George.
What was her name?
Niles.
Okay, I don't think I had her.
Okay.
But there was Mr. Daly was there. I can think of a lot of them, but
So.
Good question.
Huh?
I know I
Those are
had,
the questions.
all I can remember is I was the first year that they opened up the elementary there. I had Mrs. Pratt.
Yeah, she was there when they built that.
Yeah,
Someplace I saw in an email that you were a contractor for a while.
I buy properties and I develop them. The biggest one that I'm known for is the one across from Walmart and
Oh, wow. So you didn't build it, you owned it.
I literally owned it.
Okay.
And then I cleaned it all up, got it to, was there, and then Russ Faden, I don't know if you know Faden Enterprises, he owns about 30 subways. He came to me and wanted to partner up with me to get it going.
I guess my question is. I'm listening to what you're doing there. Decision in regards to knowing how to read blueprints. Things of this sort, you got enough background in that? Understanding of the different laws that you'll be faced with,
I'll be learning certain things, obviously,
okay?
but I have the time. I can do anything that's needed. My father was on a planning board himself. He was in Fort Ann doing it on the planning board in Fort Ann until he sold all of his property in Fort Ann.
Okay.
I just grew up, it was always in the business sense, so.
Okay.
But anything you need, I have, if you say you gotta go take a course, I take the course. I have the time. And I am retired, I have enough, I'm financially set, and I just putter now.
Good, good.
Tim, you have anything?
You guys have covered pretty much everything. I mean, what what do you have? I mean, I didn't catch what you had for experience total. I mean, what do you have for any with building? Do you have any building experience with buildings or?
The only thing I've done it from is from the other side. I've got everything from start to finish. When I bought the property across from Walmart, it was raw, disgusting land.
Yep.
Everybody, I cleaned it up. I went to the town, I went to Craig. He graduated from Lake George too, so it made it easier, but I literally said, what can I do? What do you want done? And I got it done. And I did it, but I'm doing it from the other side. I'm not from your side where you're constantly trying to say this is what needs to be done. But I did it in Queensbury, which is gonna be a heck of a lot harder. than
That's a
anything.
different world.
It's a heck of a lot harder than here, and all the drainage we had to do to get that property and to get the dirt in there to level it up but whatever it is, it's just rules. You just follow them and do what it is. So it's gonna be the other side now. Now I'll be one helping to enforce and trying to, I mean, we need business in this town, you know it.
Yeah.
So
We do.
we look to see what we can do to make it better for the town. I'm not leaving. So
That's good.
I want to have it so that we make Luzerne better.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Would you be agreeable to possibly being appointed in January as opposed to being appointed now?
I'm here to help. That's it. It makes no difference to me. And that's why if I was gonna be an alternate, I thought it'd be better to be an alternate at the start, because then I get to learn it better, and then if the other position comes up and they wanted a full-time, they have it there, or not being an alternate, or I can stay as an alternate. It doesn't matter to me.
So you've got the time to invest it.
Oh, I'm
Don,
not
do
going
you have any
anywhere.
questions?
Well, do I?
John,
Oh.
he-
John is the chairperson. of the
Yeah.
planning.
Sorry, John, I should introduce you.
Plenty of times. I've been to many of the meetings.
No, I've seen it a couple. The way we work. Like I said, basically, is we have regulation. What makes me think is the last public hearing we had something. What do you follow? What do you do? Well, follow the regulations, going down to the state, and whatever the town board says. You know, it's not like we make.
That's right.
That's basically what, that's the big main part of it. People do that, what they want to do.
And you're the enforcer.
Let-
Karen, did you?
Yeah, the planning board meets on the fourth Wednesday of every month. And the duties of the planning board are to do site plan reviews for businesses wanting to come in, when businesses want to change things. They do special use permits, which is in our use table, in our zoning ordinance, certain things that people want to do within town require special use permits. So they review them. There are public hearings that are conducted. They do subdivision applications, both minor and major. There's quite a bit of work involved with those. A lot of times the town board will ask for recommendations by the planning board when they feel some rules either need to be made or changes need to be made to existing rules. And as a member of the planning board, whether you're an alternate or a regular member, you have to take 4 hours of required training every year, which is it's available online. It's also available by a couple of organizations, like we have one coming up in the fall in Lake Placid. So there's different training involved. It is what you are working with is the zoning ordinance, the subdivision books, which I will give you copies of both of those.
Like that.
You are required to attend the meetings if you're an alternate, even if you don't serve that night, so that if the next week someone doesn't show up, you've been through what might have already been happening the week before and you're aware of what's going on. Other than that, it's kind of a learn as you go type thing, and we can, guide you in the book where to look type of thing. But I wanted to put out there what the duties are. And again, it's every fourth Wednesday of the month. We did change one meeting this year to a different day because we had the chairperson wasn't available, but typically that's what it is. You're expected to attend all of the meetings, if you are absent, because people are absent, things happen for more than 3, then the board is supposed to address that and find out if your intention is to stay on the board or move on. But I just wanted to give you an overview of what the planning board was.
And you went all over all those meetings at the last meeting, because the last one was just canceled.
Correct.
The one before that, and even she was offering some of the courses.
Correct, that's right. So I just wanted to put that out there.
But it's not like I haven't been going. I went to a whole bunch of
Mr.
them.
Martindale has been coming to the meetings. He's been to 3 or 4 of them at least.
And then I skipped a couple of them in the winter months because the weather wasn't great or something, but I was there all fall.
That's the other question I forgot to ask.
Go ahead.
Are you here in the winter time?
Oh, I'm here year round.
Okay, you're not a snowbird.
I'm not a snowbird. I may go down and visit some friends, but no,
Oh, yeah, you know what I mean.
I stay here. I love the North Country.
Okay, because we've had problems in the past,
Right. the
people being snowbirds,
Yep,
and they don't have enough to hold the quorum.
I'm here.
Okay.
And it's Bear Mountain Road that I have the property up.
Oh, Bear Mountain?
Yes.
Do you have any more questions of us?
No, I knew what I was getting involved with beforehand. Tony, I know Tony and she's been rooting me on to go. She told me to use her name. She will explain, and she thinks we're gonna have a lot of fun together. So it is what it is, Attitude is everything.
Yeah.
It is. It's just going in with the right attitude. So I have the right attitude. I have a very business background. I understand things from a different perspective. So I add in the fact that I can sit there and say, okay, I understand what both sides now. What it's like to be on the other side, trying to get everything done, especially in Queensbury. And then also what it's like and the struggles that they go through. Money goes out the pretty fast when you're trying to get stuff done. So it's good because you can understand both sides. I can be empathetic to both sides. But they've got to follow the rules or they're not going to get it done.
If you can get it done in Queensbury, you're good. You know what's going on.
And I also have property in Washington County too. It's not like I'm just not there, but
I hear you.
All right,
I'm good.
thank you. You're good, guys.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
thank you for your time.
Thank you very much.
All right, Michael.
Hello, everybody. Michael Patch.
Fire away, Mike.
So I've been local to the area in general for the last 15 years. I've been working at the LA Group in Saratoga Springs, which is a landscape architecture, engineering, planning firm. I specialize in landscape architecture myself. For the last 6 years, I've been a resident of Lake Luzerne. We were originally, I met my wife in Glens Falls, and we had a house there for a while. And as we started to grow our family, we decided we wanted to move locations to a place that was more conducive to our values and kind of our desires. And then Lake Luzerne kind of was the ideal location to kind of plant our roots and raise our family and kind of, be our forever home. So as my children are now getting a little bit older, my daughter was born 6 years ago. So they're finally getting to the age where I can be a little bit more separated from them for longer periods of time. And so now's the time that I can start to make myself more available to give back to the community and help steer it and lend my expertise. Given that I've got extensive background in planning and any sort of site plan reviews, that sort of stuff. I've been more on the developer side of things, given that my clientele is usually the people that are developing properties. But in terms of my knowledge of, various regulations and codes and stuff like that, I think I could lend a great deal of expertise and help to the planning board for that sort of review side of things to ensure that everything is complacent with the regulations and meeting any sort of codes and being environmentally sound and just helping to steer the community in the right direction for in all directions, whether it's balancing the desire to increase revenue and businesses and stuff, but also keeping in mind all of the environmental regulations and stuff like that. So
I would assume that with the half a dozen or so projects you put in your resume that you probably made presentation to planning boards.
Quite a bit, yes, through the years. Yes.
Can you tell?
So I would be on the other side of the aisle, which is interesting, but I just, and similar to Mr. Francis, whether it's soon or delayed to January, would be perfectly fine either way. He certainly has more experience in attending meetings than I have in the past for Lake Luzerne, and so certainly I could act as the backup.
Can you expand a little bit more on your thoughts of how, I know I'm hitting you cold, all right?
Mhm.
And how you think Luzerne should grow or not grow?
I think that one of the things to balance is kind of the bringing in more families, young families and stuff, so that it kind of creates the year-round base. I know that there's been a lot of ever since COVID, really, there's been a lot of purchases of people from downstate in the city of land here and using it very minimally throughout the year. And all of the Airbnb and short-term rental sort of things has kind of been taking off. And I think that there's a greater need now than ever to kind of try to make a community as attractive as possible so that it gets the full-time residents built up and maintained, and we don't lose that appeal, so that we don't bleed permanent residents and become a vacation-only location.
Have you seen the new master plan?
No, I have not. I have not
We
been
just
privy to that.
adopted it, I don't know, a month or so ago. It's online, isn't it, Karen?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, you guys might want to plow through that.
Will do.
It's on our website. We just adopted it. It was this year.
Month ago.
Yeah.
About 2 or 3
I'll look
months
into
ago.
it. Be good.
I kind of already know Michael with this, so I don't have.
Yeah, I've been helping Mr. Niles and Supervisor Merlino the last few months on trying to get the ground running on developing a playground here in town at the Pavilion Park. So I've been lending my advice on that. Whatever.
That's no charge.
At no
Yeah,
charge.
Mike got permission from his company to do that.
Yeah.
It's greatly appreciated.
Yeah, no, it's certainly, you know,
Already. It's got the topographic map done, the existing conditions map done. And he's had one rep come in with playground equipment. She showed us a whole bunch of really nice stuff.
well, yeah, I mean, the goal is to give back to the community and help in any way I can. So I've got an extensive amount of skills in various locations, and I offer them to the town for their use.
Where did you grow up? Just curious.
Born and raised in Indiana, went to
So
Purdue
that's-
University, and then,
That's the Purdue connection there.
yes, and then I came out to Cornell for graduate school and then stayed in New York State after that.
Okay, Tim?
I'm all set. I'm good. I'm all set.
Paul,
Thank you.
All right. All right. Well, thank you for your time. We're
I'm good
going to
for
take
it.
this up at another time.
John, you got anything for the gentleman?
Actually, for the board,
Uh-oh.
we've got a lot coming up. Got a lot of comments. Over the last at least year or so, we have not had 7 members sitting on the board. But every meeting, in fact, Howard was, he had to be there every meeting just so we could have it. I wonder if it wouldn't be worth, since we know, that we definitely in the year, if we should have 2 alternates. Even the last meeting. I think we had-
But they're the needs,
I
they're the
was
needs of your.
looking at my
That
book.
might be state law, right?
Yeah, I don't know, I'm assuming the board at one point raised it to 7. So you can't have more than 7.
Well, there's 7 regular members, and then we have the
One
one
alternate.
alternate. But I think that the alternate was done by a resolution, it's not in the ordinance. So I don't know if it's written for one alternate or more than one alternate. We'd have to look at that.
All right, we'll find out.
Can you have that done by
We'll
tomorrow?
look into it, John.
By
Yeah.
tomorrow,
I just might be.
by
worth
the end of the day,
it. Rather
probably.
than meeting where we had 7 things.
I don't mind coming to meetings anyway.
Yeah, I was just going to say, it sounds
Yeah,
like you come to
certainly.
a lot of our meetings, so.
I do,
Yeah.
it makes no difference.
I will try.
All right, we'll find out a couple of things and we'll let you know.
Do we need to discuss this further?
Well, later on. whatever.
Yeah, later on, let's go to the regular meeting.
We have one opening
Interviews.
right
you know,
now.
regular meeting.
Howard moved up to a regular member, so we have the alternate open. So they're interviewing for the alternate. And then at the end of the year, Dane, who's on the board, will be on the town board, so it will leave, it will open up.
Another.
New
opening.
alternate will move into a permanent position and we'll need an alternate at that point.
But currently, we only need one.
Correct.
Okay. All right, we'll be getting back to you.
Yep.
Couple-
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
gentlemen.
Guys.
All right, now the time comes, we have to get ready for our meeting in 2 weeks on resolutions. Now, the only thing, stop me if I'm running away with this. Now, we just got a noise ordinance. We found out we do have a noise ordinance. Karen printed it out because, would you like to explain that, Karen, on this letter?
Well, that was sent to me in the mail. It's an anonymous complaint.
Look, I had to interrupt Karen, but what brought this up?
Because of the letter.
Oh, they brought it up. So we've always had the noise
We
ordinance.
always have.
Yeah. we
So were they, okay, I'm sorry, go ahead. You're gonna explain
The
what. they're
issue
complaining about?
is who enforces the noise ordinance. We've been getting more and more complaints about it and we're, in this letter, they say they've called the cops 5 times, is how they've written it. And the people I've spoken to on the phone, also said that when the cops come, they say they don't enforce local ordinances.
There you go.
So the question is, who's going to enforce?
We used to have a
these
town cop
noise
many years ago.
ordinances?
We have a
He's a-
town constable.
Constable, not a cop.
Now, the
Only for town
noise
property.
ordinance itself, which I did not bring in with me,
I have one here.
the last part of it under enforcement, it says it shall be enforced by anyone having enforcement jurisdiction in the town,
The laws. of
which
the
is
of
state
New York.
police, sheriff patrol.
Or local, whatever. That, no, that was written in 2011, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't-
And that was way past the police department. But that's the thing, the law enforcement, we don't have the time. They won't come. I don't blame
Well,
them,
they'll-
really. They're overbooked.
They'll come, but apparently they don't.
They don't like getting involved in that. Because
So-
whose definition of noise is it? What's your definition of
Well,
noise and mine's
that's
different.
the
I'm a
other
drummer.
thing. The way it's written, it's very, I mean, would be hard
It'd be
to
very hard,
enforce.
very hard.
So I just wanted to, first of all, in my ordinance, anyone making a complaint, it's supposed to be, it says preferably an affidavit. I will accept a letter that is signed or an email that is signed. I don't take anonymous complaints.
Yeah, as we
And
know.
this was
This is signed, thank you, sincerely anonymous.
I don't have it.
Give it to Paul, look at that.
So why isn't it in the circular file? It's
Well,
no name. There's no one to address with it.
The issue is,
Could be written from
That
someone
no
from
one-
Corinth.
no one feels they have someone to call to enforce it.
They don't.
So I just wanted to put that out there,
Alright.
that there seems to be an issue.
got
with
one more
that.
copy down there?
You want until we get a police
That
department.
just came in today,
Oh,
that's
okay.
why, you might not
You
have it.
guys should all have that in your boxes, which would be in their piles on your desk,
Not-
What,
it's not
this?
mine.
the noise ordinance.
Oh, the noise ordinance.
I got the noise ordinance. I don't
Yeah.
have the work.
I didn't make copies of this. I just brought it with me. I had given it to Gene earlier. He was in my office, but
Where is it? Well, it's easy to figure out.
All right,
I-
well, it's something we're gonna have to look
Can you
into.
comment on it? Barry?
There's no one to enforce it.
If we call the sheriff.
So generally, these
what's to be
noise,
expect?
generally the noise ordinances are enforced by your local code enforcement officer. So if they call the planning and zoning office, whoever the code enforcement officer is, can enforce this noise ordinance. The problem is, it's not gonna be enforced immediately. I mean, they're gonna give out an appearance ticket for them to appear in justice court, and then they're gonna go through the whole justice court process.
but do you
That's
just
ju-
take someone's word for it?
No, absolutely. I would not act upon a letter that had no name.
No,
Cause I mean, you need to know you need to know the property where the
Right.
violation's existing, you need to have. Because if you go to justice court, whoever is making this complaint would have to come testify. So, I mean, you can't do it within you don't even know where the property is unless they put it in the letter. I'm
They
not
did.
sure.
There a type of evidence that would be substantial enough to hold weight and things like that, like a video of the noise happening and visibly it's at the location that they're saying it is?
Yeah, so it's gonna,
How people when they call in.
so it's gonna be your normal, beyond reasonable doubt standard, cause it's criminal court. So generally that's photos, video, but it's gonna have to be authenticated, which I know I'm getting into all the legalese here, but. So whoever took the video is gonna have to come to court, or they're gonna have to sign some sort of affidavit that you can submit in court that says, I took the video on this date at this time. This is the activity that's taking place, and all of that has to be submitted into evidence as it would in a normal criminal trial.
But we don't have to really get on anything that says anonymous. It's gotta have
Absolutely not.
It has to
How would
have
you submit
have
this?
no
as
evidence.
person, right?
I'll leave that to you.
Yeah.
Cause I get that a lot. People wanna tell me about this. Oh, write me an email, give me your name. Oh, I don't want my name involved.
Oh,
Yeah, about neighbor disputes.
You know, that's it.
yeah,
That's
Yeah.
that.
Shut their neighbor's action down.
All right.
but at the same time, if they're calling the cops, I would imagine whoever they're calling them on know that the police are there.
Mhm.
Yeah, I would think that most of the time that would take care of it, just the cops showing up, maybe not.
What kills me is it takes the cops off doing the tough job already. Come over here, take care of some stupid rubbish, where some person got his music too loud, someone gets beat up over in Glens Falls.
Can I? Constable? No,
It's not town
it's only
property.
Town property,
Gotta be
right?
town property. All right, the second one is that what was brought up on the power system, Kingsley. They take care of our generators around town, and this is at the water plant. Something was leaking. He spotted it. The letter came in. I think you all got it because I'm sure we all sent it all out. And so, but they came in with a price of $7,277.71.
That was at the chlorine.
Yeah, but the generator for the water pump.
No, the chlorine tank was leaking, wasn't it?
No, there was the generator.
Generator is talking.
Yeah, the generator. That's
Is it
what
a-
that's what this is for.
It's an emergency power generator for,
Right. it's-
Okay.
It's a backup generator.
Yeah.
If that's what he's talking
Yeah,
about.
that's what he's talking about. It's the whole letter. I mean, you didn't get it, Paul?
I
I
almost
got it like
sure,
a
but
month or two
Yeah,
ago,
it
right?
was about a couple of weeks ago, yeah.
yeah,
Yeah,
So anyway,
what's our
So-
procurement policy? I forget.
I have it, I'm looking.
I think that's under it, isn't it?
under.
you've got to watch it very carefully.
What
For one thing,
7,000?
Mhm.
7,000.
So a written fax or email quotation and notify 3 town board members.
I got it right here. That's what they said. Oh, you're reading,
Right.
oh, you're reading it to him.
I don't have any feel at all. that That's a good price.
Yeah, I don't have a feel if it's a good price, but I just have a feel if the generator stops when we need it, and we lose the water
yeah,
supply. I think it's gotta be done. This company's been as long as I've
They've
been.
They've been with us a
They've
long
been a
time.
long time, so they don't.
So you want to go ahead and
yeah, it's
Well, we
leaking
put it-
chlorine and it could be had, you might want to get
It's
that
not
fixed.
chlorine, no.
It says right there, I'm reading it,
That's what I said. And they're saying no.
and chlorine pump,
Yeah,
and chlorine, it's discovered,
that's Kingsley though.
discovered in the injection pump.
That's a
No.
different one.
Okay,
No, that's, I think that's a different.
when I got 3 in front of me, then we got one problem.
Well,
What we got going
yeah,
on
that's
here?
what-
That's the Kingsley one. That's the one I'm referring to. I didn't even know this one that I could remember. That's why I was saying
Okay,
chlorine.
all right,
You want to put a resolution together?
we'll put a resolution
I
in
don't have that
for
one.
the meeting in 2 weeks. And it'll be on the resolution.
Have you got what they plan on doing?
Um,
That's all I'm asking.
Yeah.
I got no problem with fixing something. Don't get me wrong.
I don't have it.
Oh,
Anyways.
I just like to see what the scope of work is.
It's in that packet.
Injection pump. Fuel injection, pump, the goddamn generator.
Fuel injection pump.
Yeah. not chlorine,
It's a fuel injection pump. What are they quoting the price at?
7,000.
7,000 fuel injection pump.
Yeah.
My God, I'm in the wrong business.
You already retired.
Not yet. Work harder now than I did before.
I
Need a
said you're
resolution
retarded,
for
not
that.
retired.
Yeah,
This letter over here says that the guy that was checking it all out noticed a leak. And it is an injection pump leaking and is recommended to be replaced.
If that's the fuel, is it? Yeah. Get it
Fuel
fixed.
injection pump.
Yeah, I'll definitely get it fixed.
All right, so somebody might make a motion and we'll get it for the
go
agenda,
ahead and do up that resolution.
Yeah.
I don't think you need a motion for that.
okay? The other thing we've been talking about for a month or more is needing the resolution for the property exemption for the seniors.
Mhm.
I think we agreed that
That was
don't
all.
do it the same as the county.
Yeah, that was already done.
Okay, you got that?
Well, I did the resolution, you guys didn't pass it, so we'll.
No,
add
we
it
didn't
to-
pass it. We didn't pass it.
Okay.
Yeah, okay,
You all got that email
yeah.
with the resolution attached?
And also, we got a letter in there from the Adirondack Park Agency. They're looking for the $300 to, it's the Government Review Board. We give them the 300 every year,
Give it.
so. If it's,
Thanks, John.
Good night, John.
John, if it's all right, we'll put the resolution in for the meeting.
Looks great. Yeah, that's fine. I'm
Okay?
good with that.
All right. Mary, you have any? All right, Mary, I got you down here about the letters from Castner's.
Sorry, hold on.
If you think you want to talk about an executive session,
No,
no?
um. I don't know if I'm hoping you all received the letter I emailed to you on July 18th.
Yes.
Oh, okay. So basically the owners of Kastner's Motel are asking for a meeting to discuss the beach, ownership of the beach. Really, it has to be a public meeting if the board's there, so they would have to come to the board meeting and speak to you.
What does he want to speak to us for? Speak to the lawyers.
What else is there to say?
Deal with that. Just no, NRO.
We voted against it at the meeting. so that's
Right.
what-
Yeah, we voted against it. Well,
Well, he said he was going to file.
He said yes, their next steps are litigation if the board will not reconsider.
we said no.
I just.
I don't-
be
No, I
explicit
understand. I
again,
just,
I'm
yeah, I
not-
wouldn't say no if I didn't mean it. Yeah,
I've taken the time, and I don't know if any of the other board members have walked up there,
yeah, I have.
okay?
I have not, but I would love to have somebody show me around. Like.
Well, I didn't go up and get shown around, let's put it that way.
I don't even know.
Don't look for the 50-cent tour. You won't get it. You'll probably get a broom chased after you by him.
The properties that originally show on the GIS maps or GSI maps do not show all the cabins that have been built over the years on that property, on the individual lots. Okay, unless Karen's got a more up to date.
Where is this?
Kastner's. All
I use the county GIS system and they have imagery that they took from 2022, so it should be up to date.
Okay, the only thing that I see on those pictures on the maps is the house,
Are you just seeing the shadow of the shapes? Is that what you're
yes,
saying?
ma'am.
If you drill down further, there's an imagery place that they fly over and they take pictures of it.
Okay,
And
and
you-
it shows all the cabins.
And they've done
everything?
it for a series of years, and the most recent one is 2022. I don't know if you can see all the cabins or not, because sometimes the trees get in the way,
Okay,
but Melissa will have, or should have, in her inventory list, what is there.
okay.
Has anybody consulted the Somerville Club on this? The access to the lake or not?
There is no access that I could see,
You're cutting their throat if you sell this to them.
okay? In regards to that property up there, other than the beach area that we technically own right now. Okay,
Technically, we own it.
okay.
We got a deed to it.
If we let that go, he could shut the snowmobilers from coming
Oh, he
off.
will.
Okay, and
I'll
cut that
guarantee
right
it.
off.
That's why he wants to buy it.
The people that are up on Bernard Lane and all that, if we leave it, they can still use it as a entrance point. Okay, over the years, the people before that, okay, and as you well know, Gene, kind of took everything right over. Okay, and when he sold it, he passed it on as that was his property.
Got this up on the screen now, and you can see pretty much all the cabins, I mean, if you wanna. pull it
Yeah.
I don't think anything's built on it in the last 20 years.
And there's no other access point. I went up to see if there was possibly another access point to free up. Okay. For the snowmobile club, for the people that are up on Lake Vinar or yeah, Vinar Lane and up in that area, which is in their deeds, that they got rights to lake without, scalping them and closing that off on. And there's nothing there.
Yeah. Well, there's a
Thank
little
you, Chris.
There's a little peninsula at the end, but it's all rocky.
It's all solid rock,
It's nothing, nobody.
okay?
All right, well, I think we decided.
So did he,
I think
was there any thoughts on my suggestion?
What's that?
And those thoughts on my suggestions I suggested? He wants that beach, go, but we're gonna take one of the lots on the end to let the snow machines on it up. We'll do a land swap with them.
eliminate a cabin.
You could suggest that.
Because, but the thing too,
I need the board to tell me to suggest that.
We could put that in, you want that to come up?
what I would like to do is.
I first
Which one
say,
would
I would like Mary to look at it first, the legalities of doing that. What is that involved with? How do you do that? Is that something a town can even
you
do?
first gotta
Or-
get full market value.
Yeah, you gotta get market
Correct.
value. The guy wants a beach, he'll have to go for it. You can't have his cake and eat it too.
That's a good sized beach.
Right, so yeah, you have to sell it for, you'd have to get it appraised. And then you would have to sell it for full market value. So I don't know, I mean, I guess you'd have to see what the other land would be worth before you could even suggest.
Okay, I guess my next question to you is, Mary, is due to the fact that we do own that with a deed, even though you've got some background how we got it, what's our chances of keeping it?
So
Would you
their
say?
argument is that they have adverse possession against the prior owners, prior to the town, because you can't get adverse possession against the town. So they're gonna have to go back to before it was deeded to the town and prove that they controlled that land for 10 years against the prior owners. I don't know what that
He's
looks like.
dead.
I literally don't know what that looks like.
Carl's dead.
No, as far as public access, have we looked into what are, I guess what I'm looking for, there's the town, it goes along with the town property. Public access rights for deeded public access. How is that different from neighbor to neighbor deeded rights? There's gotta be, because there is a municipality involved now. If it's
So-
public rights.
Right now, it is designated as parkland, which means that the public can use it to enter the water there. So technically, before the town can sell the land, you would need an act of the legislature to remove it from a parkland designation. The only thing I want to caution you there about is the way that it's used currently. I'm not so sure would meet that definition, but it's something to keep in mind that before you do this land transition, if you were to, you may need the legislature.
Yep.
Now,
So,
what hap- Go
I'm
ahead,
sorry,
Ken.
just real
No,
question.
go ahead.
I don't think I think
go
I
on.
asked it the wrong. Now, he's the private landowner says, no, I don't want any access to that, but it's public access.
Currently, you mean? Well, he can't.
Let's say, for instance, but I believe that's access right there for the public to get down there to the lake, right
Correct,
through there.
now it is, yeah.
Public access. So
Correct.
that does kind of involve us a little bit. So if he's gonna keep the public out, that would bring the town involved. He's violating something there. You can't keep the public out if it's public
Well,
access.
that's where the parkland designation comes in.
Okay.
So if they were to bring, litigation over this, they would have to clear that hurdle of it's designated parkland. Does the legislature have to act before the judge can issue this order?
Okay,
I mean, I think it will be very complicated.
but can he keep people off that land?
Okay.
Tell them they can't go down public access or that access to the
Currently,
lake?
no,
No,
but
Okay.
if he.
No
gets-
private property owner can do that for public access.
But if he gets an order from a judge that
Okay.
says you controlled that land for 10 years before the town had ownership of it, it then becomes his only. And that gets rid of all public access.
Okay.
But again, there are hurdles they're gonna have to cross before they can get that
Well, what, if-
order.
yeah, that's weird because it's,
so I guess my question is, even though we own the property right now, he could turn it around then?
If a judge agrees that however many years ago they controlled it for 10 prior years,
Even though it wasn't his?
that's what adverse possession is, like.
Clock doesn't reset when you change ownership for adverse possession?
You're asking about a statute of limitations? No, I don't believe so. Cause he's gonna say that he's continued to control and use the land, which they have.
but the Somerville Club has also,
Yes.
they
of
have been
course.
using it. So
Yes.
there's a confrontation there. Well, so has public access and it has been used for public access during seasonal use.
Correct. Which is
So,
all things that they're going to have
Yeah.
to convince a judge on if they bring this litigation.
And we tried to get him just to lease it from us for $100 a year, pay the insurance. and everything,
Insurance and everything.
But he didn't want that, his.
but he wants it outright.
I thought that was, you were at that, I thought that's what we were gonna settle on. And I
That meeting we had, it's.
was. was
As
good,
long as he still let the Somerville Club on it, yeah, but other
I
than
think
that,
the lawyer convinced him, well, why don't you go after him the other way, so. And no, she's called me, and I'm gonna let you know, and she says, well, if you guys don't help us out, we're gonna take you to court. And I says, I don't like to be threatened.
Thank you.
You
tell her
know,
go back home,
you know,
take a
that's
cold
it.
shower or something. I don't
But-
know.
But you know,
She all worked up
I'm
over
the devil to do of those guys, when they bought that property, they just. Carl never told them that that land wasn't. his.
That's
That's
between
what
them,
I'm
that's
saying.
between them. That's
That's
between
between
them.
them,
That's
not
deed
us, yeah.
search. You gotta do your homework when you buy, yeah, well, they got lawyers. I
Did
think
the
they probably
title
knew.
search
I
on
think
that
they
for
knew.
them, Didn't do the job right.
Every house I bought, I know what I was getting into.
I don't know who represented them back when it changed hands. but
All right,
Yeah, the title doesn't seem to have been done.
Sounds like, to me, your idea, although to me, it sounds like a good idea, it'd be awful complicated to make it happen.
As long as you get a snow machine off the lake.
Yeah.
Cause that's what it's being used for right now, and that's business for the town, and anything that threatens that. Ain't good,
Well,
All right.
not good at all.
what are you gonna do with the people up on Benar Lane?
What about 'em?
That have got rights to that lake. It's in their deeds.
Yeah, that's, okay, that's another question, because we got that instance, we have other instances of that. I think that's a legal question we need to find out as far as public rights, or where are we at with that? I mean, when people come up and say, hey, there's public access to this, and it's been there for 100 years, and someone says no. It's in one person just shut off public access.
The problem is, their deeds do not say where the
Where it is.
access is.
What if it's on a map and it's drawn?
You're going back to back when it was Checkerboard Farms.
Exactly.
That's how far you're going back.
Mm.
And that's 1930s, Gene?
and I'll tell you, that was, remember Ginny Russell and Mike had zeros, their kids were always fishing there.
They were
Until
thrown
this
out
guy
there.
Took it out and they thrown out, that's what Ginny came and showed it, that she has rights to go to that beach. So whoever owns, I mean, what's his name owns, zeros now or the property.
Right.
Must have it in the deed transfer.
So the call, how many often are they calling you up? They calling you, bugging you about it?
Who's that?
Passers.
The last couple of months.
Tell them if it's town property, you get their fence off town property first and clean off the crap off town property.
That's no different than the road he's
That's
got
right.
blocked
It's our
off.
property. Get it off.
Ron didn't know that was a town road. Huh?
Start threatening. Get off, get it off. the town
All right.
property.
Did you look at it though?
So what's my direction?
What do you want Mary to do? Give us a, wanna write a letter, let
Tell them you
that.
said no.
At the present time,
First answer was sufficient.
Okay.
at the present time, we all voted not to do any, or not to give him what he wants. Let's see what his next motion is.
Okay.
Okay?
Okay.
If
And
he
we don't
wants,
wanna meet with them again, right? That's.
no,
So that's-
Not in my eyes.
No, I don't, I
that's
have
the idea
no.
that Board
No,
decided,
it's same stuff all over.
That's right. And the other thing is,
okay.
the way I feel about it, if he wants to play hardball, okay, let's go.
Okay, all right, so
That's
that's,
the way my
all right,
feeling is.
let's move on.
Yours?
The one other thing that I have to
You gotta
talk
fight for the
here,
right for the, you got the snowmobile club uses it. It brings business to the town. If we don't fight for them, who are we fighting for?
Mhm. Well, I remember a couple of months ago at a meeting, the Second Lake community came in, wanted a new sign there that got rotted, belonged to the town, and the town took it down. Well, they finally came in, this is what they're looking for. The sign that says that,
That's a
So-
small sign.
huh?
How are you putting that up?
Sure,
there?
put it on, eliminate it.
No, all right, come on, come on, come on. All right, so I called Tim Rodriguez. He's willing to come and take a look at it and get a price for it. So I just want you guys to know, it's all right to move forward with getting this. This is what they want. He might change a little, like I even put up here in the corner, it should say Lake Luzerne, Second Lake Home.
Are we just trying to, we're just trying to identify it as not?
Yes, they want to identify.
I don't wanna go
because
so
we're getting
elaborate
so
on it.
many-
I mean, we're creating a masterwork here.
Well, I'll have Tim make a.
Gravy.
We buying this sign?
We,
It's
Ben's
our
a-
sign, it's our profit.
It's our property.
how many copies they sell inside?
Now,
Collector's
ma'am,
series? At collector's
how
series,
big
no?
a sign can they put up? 4x8.
4x8.
A municipal sign I have no jurisdiction over.
That's a town sign though.
That's what municipal means.
Well, we'll stick with a 4x8 because that's what a normal. I don't want a big mount. Don't tell them that. They'll have a
Don't
20-foot
tell us
sign
that.
out there.
3x8 is pretty big.
Yeah.
Sign of one.
All right, so I just want you gentlemen to know that I'm gonna look into it. I'll get Tim to come up with a
Are you going with this situation they had last time? One pointing this way and one pointing this way?
That's a street. This is a sign. It'll be on both.
I
sides.
know, but that's what the old Second Lake,
It'll be
sign
like
was.
this, and here's the road here and the road here. It'll be on both sides. Yeah,
One sign, two sides.
no,
yes.
two signs.
One, no,
One on this side of the road and one going down that side of the road.
no.
No?
One sign,
We'll put it right in the middle
sign.
of the island.
Okay.
That's where it was last time, right, Ron? That's where you took it
It
down.
was only brown and
Right in the
white
middle of
letters
the
last
island.
time. Wasn't no
Yeah,
freaking,
so the point that
Yeah,
Paul's
but it
making,
was like
that
brown
sign
and
was
white.
really. two
Yeah.
There's
sides.
nothing elaborate like that.
V
What
shape.
the hell are you doing?
You
It was
may
a V shape.
have-
Yeah, it was two.
Yeah.
Thank you, Ron.
Okay, I don't remember that.
Yeah,
I think we should just leave it as one sign, just like
Yeah.
that,
two sides.
two sides.
One sign, yeah.
That's up to you. You tell me.
I would limit the size.
Yeah,
Don't
I-
give them
no.
4x8.
Every other road around here is gonna want one.
Exactly.
Everyone's gonna want a
All
sign.
these new developments, you got, John, they're gonna want us to buy the sign.
Well, what's an average size? The most we can do is 4x8, roughly, right?
That's the largest you should do. Yes, I would,
I would say 2x2 or something.
yeah, that's what I would
2x2.
say. Just
You're just identifying a road, right?
2x2
just telling
is
them,
gonna
what do
be
you-
like
Yes,
this.
that's what.
And I guarantee you they still
That's
turn down
pretty
there.
good size.
How about 3x6?
It's not,
Let's
it's
compromise.
Fine,
All
3x6.
right.
It's not gonna stop the people.
not gonna stop them.
No.
Freaking
Google.
GPS.
Right.
Quote,
No, it
Yeah.
isn't.
let's first find out how much a 3x6 costs.
All
And
right,
we'll go from there.
we'll do that tomorrow.
Let's do that, yeah.
All right, you
Let's
got,
do
it.
that.
Let's move on. So that's, all right, now. I'm gonna give you another hassle, so bear with me.
He ain't cheap.
No. Just good work. though.
Yeah, you
Bear with me, gentlemen. Oh, I think it's moved on. This will explain something. This is more important right here. And this is the other important thing right here. Okay. Mr. Miles, you. This is the important one. Also what this is. I should have stapled them together. Okay, Mary, this attorney here.
What's this? He's running?
All right, what you got in front of you I've been talking about this for a couple of months. And the first one is talking about the USDA loan. And you have that in front of you.
Why do we not know?
The short and the sweet of it, it tells you everything on this thing that we're all right with everything I want to do. And it tells you exactly what this loan could be used for. I've talked to Ron about it. We have two options. We borrow $1 million, 3.625% for 15 years. It's $87,600 a year. If we take it out shorter, it'd be 21,000 a year. If you want $1.5 million, it's 365, the same thing, 15 years, it's $131,400. This loan is available almost instantaneously, as long as we have a resolution. And this is a government, United States government, Department of Agriculture. And this money is available to come to towns, and mainly I want to put it to the road department and start working on all these roads that people are complaining about constantly in this town. And I think that's the only way we're going to catch up, is to do this over 10 years or 15 years, whatever you decide. Now, I don't want an answer now.
No.
This is, I want you to take it home, read it. You got any questions, call me, about it. And I'll even have this guy speak to you on it. But I want to give it to you in person, not email, not in your box. So you get this person, you take care of, and by the time the meeting comes next week.
I got a question that I think we should be thinking about,
Well, that's what well. Go ahead.
okay?
Hold on.
How did we come up with these numbers?
This is from them, not me.
No. The
No.
1 or the 1.5,
Well, I gave them options. Give me a number for 1,
why didn't you ask them for 3?
why 3? What more do
That's
you
the
want to?
question. How did you come up with that?
No, I came up with the option of $1 million for 15 years or $1 million for 10 years.
How did you come up with the number of monies you want to borrow?
Oh, well, I got it from more on talking to Ron about what we need. We might need more or we might be less, but if you read all this stuff in here, it can be used for a lot of other. But strictly road right now is what my goal is.
I can't
disagree, but I think this is a guess.
I can't disagree, we need to do something, but I won't
agree
vote
with
for
that.
anything unless I get more information from that man down there on the general cost and what roads he plans on proposing.
Here's
Because
what-
I understand what you're saying.
here's what I'm
He
afraid.
told us at our last meeting or a few meetings ago, he gave a rough sheet on half a dozen areas. And it was $1 million for a half a dozen areas. Okay,
Well, that's why I'm trying to go start with a.
I'm not disagreeing with you, Gene, but I'm saying, if he's already spent basically $1 million on a half a dozen roads, he speaks of, the road down there in by the post office. And you came up with a figure of $1.5 million just to redo that whole area.
Between Church Street.
I'm talking from the ground up,
Yeah,
the water,
from doing the
the
wall.
lines, everything. And that's $1.5 million and the darn street's what? 1,500 feet long?
Yeah.
You think you're talking one?
Here's what I'm worried about. Take Paul's thought a step further. I agree. I think the best approach to solving a lot of these problems is borrow the money and get the job done. But what I'm worried about is 3 years from now, 5 years from now, oh, shoot. We should have borrowed 3 million last year, not $1.5 million.
Yeah, but okay, but here's the answer to that. Meantime, each year, you're still getting $500,000 from the state to do roads. It's not that once we do those roads, we don't have any more money. This money here is to do roads. And as the years go by, we'll still be doing more roads, but some of them are smaller ones. Get the major ones that people are calling and sending emails all the time about potholes and their cars are falling apart. This is not an end all. This is a beginning. Because next year we'll still get roughly 450,000, 300,000 from the state of New York. So we're not gonna be,
I can't fight you on that. I can't.
we're not.
But the whole question is,
You couldn't borrow enough money and you couldn't get it done in the next 5 years, what we. need to do.
I'm saying, I think we ought to get more figure from Ron saying, okay, I'm just saying.
Do you have that list that you gave me a month ago?
I don't know if I've got it with me.
I'm gonna get a hold of Paletti, and I'm getting a hold of Peckham's, and we will get you quotes on different scenarios. Grinding up the road, or just skimming it and overlaying it, doing culverts,
You know where I'm coming from,
everything
Ron.
like that. Just to put it in your mind, 1 mile is gonna be about $250,000
That's right.
to grind it up. Bring material, binder and top it.
When you did Ralph Road, you did a mile of it.
No, that was half a mile. Schofield was almost 200,000.
That was only last year though.
Year before. I think.
Well, I
on the
mean, you
road,
got
one
some
section.
options too. We could build borrow $1.5 million. That's why I got that old one. You gotta start someplace, guys. We can't just keep.
Nobody's fighting here.
That's the way I think we should look at it, right? Never catch up if we don't do this, never. I don't think any of us are here are against doing it. But here's the way I think we should look at it. Let's just take a conversation. Say we're gonna talk about 15 years. We should sit down, and I don't mean we, I mean, you should sit down and say, okay, the next 15 years, if I borrow $1.5 million, I could do this, this. Okay, then you also say in the next 15 years, I'm still gonna have to continue doing the stuff you're talking about, and that's gonna cost that, and that. And then you should say, okay, the next 15 years, I've got monies coming in, it's gonna be this and that, this and that, this and that, this and that. So that 15 years from now, we aren't standing there holding the bag. We spent all this money to fix the roads, but now we're right back where we started.
And we're behind the 8 ball.
It's just numbers. you
That's
know?
all it is.
You're gonna be behind the 8 ball, no matter what.
That's right.
As the time goes through, time goes by with the thaw and the freeze. And you're never gonna stand there and say, what do we do next?
Okay,
So
the
this
list
is
of roads you
another
gave us,
Band-Aid.
Ron.
This is a boost to the beginning.
Okay, the list of roads you gave us there a couple months ago. Okay, approximately $1 million.
Doing a mile,
There was a number of roads you said. Your wish list
the wish list, yeah.
that needs to be done. If I can find, if I don't have it here, I got it at home.
Oh,
You submitted,
I probably got
you submitted a list. Okay, and the total basically $1 million.
it. Okay.
Okay? And if we go and present this or able to get this money, and let's say it's $1 million, you had about 6 projects. That's it. Okay, and that money's gone now. But then you come back at our last meeting and you said that the post office to do that correctly and down in that area, that's gonna cost $1 million. Well, we're only getting 300,000. Okay, so we're 700,000 in arrears. That's without doing anything that year. That's what I'm saying. Okay. And the way I'm looking at it is we gotta come up. The list you turned in was a great list. But if it's a difference of adding a couple more to the list and saying, like Jim is saying, instead of 1 million, we have to go out and borrow 3. You gotta then turn around and tell us, I can only do 3 of the roads this year because you borrow corn, you know, the neighboring towns to help you out. Okay. So you get, say, 2 miles done, and then you go and help them and you help, you know. But you gotta plan and say, okay, the year 2024, we're gonna do this one, this one, and this one. That gives me a budgetary figure over here of the money we're borrowing to be able to do the following year and say this, this, and this, and you're adding in the $300,000 that the state is giving us. So now I can do possibly another one. You see what I'm saying? So we can take a look. This project of spending 1 million or 5 million, we might be looking at a 5-year project.
Right, that's what I
Okay.
say. You're not gonna spend all that $1.5 million in 1 year.
Well, he's saying he can just down there at the post office. That's what I'm saying.
It all depends on where you want to do it. Do you wanna get these back roads caught up, or do you wanna go down in town and blast and put water line in
You know what I'm saying?
and everything, you know? It all depends on where you wanna do it.
I think.
I'm saying year after year, 300,000, we will never, ever catch up.
I know because
Ever.
of the past people that took care of the highways. Everything was just skim coated,
Yes,
okay?
and it. You go up there on Howe Road and
Howe
stop and get out and look at them holes, and that's approved in fact what you just said, because it's that thick.
I've been driving that road periodically over the last couple of months. That road is a mess,
Yes.
okay? Thomas Road, the same situation,
Yeah,
okay?
yeah.
All it was a 3-inch binder put on nothing,
If that,
okay,
you know, so here we are, it's finally falling apart and showing its true,
I'm not disagreeing with you.
you know,
So
so.
we need a schedule from you.
So what do we do? I think keep going with the 300,000.
I think you might wanna borrow more.
That's what we're talking about.
So if you're thinking of borrowing more. I'll bring in Peckhams and let them do a mile on their own. Cause
Okay,
that's what they do every day.
We need to,
They fail to
we
knock
need
it
to
out.
figure out where we're gonna be, say in 3 years, 5 years. I mean, the worst thing that could happen is we go and borrow a bunch of money and in 3 or 4 years, we gotta borrow another million.
or two.
Yeah. You know how when you're buying a house, the mortgage company says, you sure you don't want more money? Yes, that's partially, yes, that's partially a sales pitch, but, you know, I've done enough real estate transactions where sometimes
So.
cutting yourself short is cutting your nose off.
That's right.
All right, but also gotta think, I could say get 2 million. And it'll be twice as one, but it's how much is gonna go in a budget that the taxpayers can handle. That's the other part.
I realize that.
So.
But if we come up short, if we borrow $1.5 million and come up short, and in 3 years from now, 5 years from now, we got roads that are falling apart again, it's gonna cost us more money. We need to
Tell me,
plan.
we gotta do
Plan.
something. Just to sit here and say, we gotta do a plan, gotta do this, we gotta do something, because the roads are getting worse. And we go through another winter with some of these roads, especially, some of these,
I'm not.
right? I mean, am I talking right or am I talking wrong? I mean, oh, I'm sorry.
I can tell you right now, I'm not gonna vote in favor of this unless we have a plan.
Thank you, neither am I.
And that plan ought to be at least,
Let me get quotes on everything, and then I could update my list of roads that. We think should be done first.
well,
I say a 3-year plan.
I say for the life of the loan. I know it's hocus pocus when you start getting out there 6 or 7 years. I realize that, but hocus pocus is better than no thought at all.
We're trying to come up with some plan, not good.
And don't get me wrong, I'm in favor of doing this. Gene and I talked about this 3 or 4 months ago. He was just bouncing it off me and I said, yeah, I agree with the idea that. Let's just stop sticking our finger in the dike and fix the dike.
Why don't you and Paul text me a bunch of little things that you wanna see in this plan for me? That way I can take it and run with it.
Yeah, I'll do that.
Or stop by.
Yeah.
With me, we'll take a ride or whatever.
I'll
So
stop
you don't
by.
have to take, I travel these roads enough.
So,
All right, so let's move along. We're gonna get a plan. That, because I'm calling a special meeting on Monday, August 7th at 7:00.
Is there any harm in going ahead and putting a resolution together?
For how much?
We can change it that night, or can we?
Yes, you can change.
I don't
it.
see.
Just have to go.
You're asking that, Jim? Him,
I have to check. I don't know.
you're asking him, tomorrow's the 1st. In 7 days to get a hold of Peckham and everybody else and put these figures together along with.
Our meeting's 2 weeks.
you can always put the resolution.
It's 7, he's calling a special meeting.
No, no, calling to give you, we gotta talk about it. I give it to you ahead of time, so you had a week to think about your questions and answers. This is not a resolution. This is gonna go to the 14th, which is our meeting in August. All right, look, we can just have, we got that here. Let's finish the,
Well, what did we decide?
he's got to come up with some kind of plan for us. I mean, there's no way, I'm sorry, I don't care how good Ron is, there's no way you're gonna plan how a road's gonna be 5 years. from
No, there's no way.
now. I mean, come on, you
The
gotta
process
start
tearing it up.
someplace and get the money that you have fixing the roads. Meantime, as the years go by, we'll fix some of the smaller roads with some of the money we get as a state and some of the money we can put in the budget every year. You know, but you gotta start someplace, guys. I mean, you're not gonna have a foolproof plan. There'll be 10 years from now, there'll be some road that they said we should have did. Well, shoulda, coulda, and woulda.
My guess is you're gonna have to have a public hearing on this. I cannot tell you for certain until I look at the law, but my guess is you're gonna have to have a public hearing first.
Of course you are.
And what if the public turns you down? Or makes an issue? I know, but what if they come marching in here, and make an issue out of it?
Use.
All right, I have no problem with
I
that.
don't know.
I have
to
no
look.
problem.
I just want to put it in your head before I give
All
you
right,
that.
let's move to number 2 here. Tracy and I had a meeting today. There's a whole bunch of grants that she's got.
Yeah.
I want her here to explain every one of them to you. We did get another grant guaranteed for 150,000 through Matt Simpson, and that's gonna take care of that water stuff that we have.
What water stuff?
And we have the water stuff like the lead paint survey, that has to go, it's all written down. She's got it all written down of what it's gonna be. I'm just giving you this so you have it in mind for when we come next week and she's sitting here. But she's got a couple of grants. And she even got the one grant, either Gillibrand or Schumer. She thinks we're gonna get a $2 million water grant. But she can't guarantee it, but she thinks it went through a certain committee that ours got moved up more now to the final, the same.
Really?
Yep. So she's got I'd rather have her explain it all to you because I'm,
So put her on the agenda.
that's what, but this is for this special meeting, all right?
On August 7th.
And we also have to sit and talk to the 2 companies we have now lined up for health insurance. So we get one company in here, talk all about what they can do, and then another time, get another. I'd like to have one here that week, and one maybe at our next board meeting. To talk about. It's the only way we're gonna get this stuff done.
One on the 7th and one on the 14th.
14th, right? That's what we talked about. So what if ands or us, we're still gonna have a meeting on Monday night at 7 o'clock. It'll be advertised as long as all of you can make it. If you can't make it, let me know now. We got something else. And then at that meeting, of course, I put on here or whatever is needed, any kind of things that needed for the next meeting.
I could be here.
Yeah, you read that? Okay. Then we can leave it. I know, I hate to bring you out on another Monday, but we gotta get this, it's gonna come August.
Why aren't we doing this tonight, though?
What's the what?
Why aren't we doing this tonight?
Why are we? Or
Why aren't we? This
Well,
is stuff that could be brought up at a regular board meeting. I'm just asking a question. I mean,
well, let's look at the questions we have now about the money. Should we borrow 2 million? Should we do it for 10 years? I mean, that's something we gotta discuss again before we bring it at a board meeting and have a public hearing, right? So, and Tracy wants to be here. She's gonna have all the stuff, all the information, and you guys have been mailed all the information about the health policy that we have to do for the town employees.
I cannot be here Monday night, but it doesn't sound like you.
No, I don't think we need you for that, but the following Monday. we
Yes,
definitely-
of course.
All right, any other questions? No.
about this?
Anything,
Yeah, I got a couple things.
go ahead.
Now, I'll cross this off my list and we'll bring it up again if that's what we decide. 2 months ago, we said in a couple of months, we would consider whether we're going to have a town facility reservation form, sign up board, whatever you want to call it. It's been a couple months, so I'm bringing it up.
Say that again.
A couple months ago, if somebody wanted to use the
Oh,
pavilion.
pavilion, yeah, okay, that's
Right.
gotta be done, and, and we also have to do the zoning. Part of this money that, she's after will cover a zoning part too. For, get an engineer in here.
I got a couple. Maybe it was just one. Do you remember, Chris, we got Lake George's application form to use town
Yes, you did.
facilities? Is that the only one I got? I can't
I
remember.
think I got one too. We got a whole bunch of them.
Okay. If you want, guys, I'll spearhead that effort. Talk
Go
to
for it.
everybody, kind of boil it down, whatever. I know our front office staff has definitely got input on that, so
Yeah, I guess they do.
it's legitimate input too.
Yeah, they don't want to do it.
Well, I think if we do it right, we can talk them into it.
If you have a form, it makes it easy for everybody of what we want to do with that park. I've been running it for the last couple of years and it's tough, but I don't mind going over there and opening the bathroom, turning the lights on, let people enjoy the park. But we have to have some kind of a form.
Yeah, I don't think we're objecting. We
No.
just need some rules to follow. There's no rules to follow.
Yeah.
And we're not enforcers, so it makes it
I'll-
very
I'll,
difficult when somebody has an issue and they call our office. And there's no rules to go by. So it just needs to be figured out.
I'll be in. Okay, we'll pound out something.
All right.
Oh, I'm not done yet. Not even close. What do you got?
Okay.
A fire at your house or what?
Jim, not close, I gotta shoot to see about 5 minutes, not right.
Okay,
Should I?
Please.
pause for a minute now?
well, I'll be done.
All right.
I sent everybody an email, saying that, Solitude Lake Management wanted to firm up the rest of their summer schedule to do work, and one of the things they wanted to know is if we were gonna go ahead with a plant study up at Lake Lenar. Cost is $4,600. They did the proposal back in January.
I sent you a,
Right, I called Warren County and they said they really don't do that kind of stuff. I spoke to Larry Eichler, who used to work for Darren Freshwater Institute. And he definitely does these kind of things now on his own. He's retired, but he can't do it until next year. I spoke to AE Commercial Diving, who's our pickers, and he said he'd get me a quote by Thursday, and they still don't have it. So I don't have another quote. I also want to say something else, I guess, and Howard, if the board's okay, if Howard has anything to add, I'd like to ask him to add it. The Historical Society put a presentation on the other night, which was, the presentation was the Lake Association presented to the Historical Society in their program. All the stuff that they've done for the past 30 years to manage the lake. There was not one person there from Lake Lenar, from Fourth Lake or any of the other lakes. I'm
Well,
not
Mike-
sure what message.
Well, you know,
That's
you gotta
setting.
understand, like Fourth Lake is a private lake, you can't get in.
Okay.
And same in Lake Lenore.
Fourth Lake is not a private lake.
Well.
It is not.
It's a
You
private
got the
community.
state,
Let's use
you
that
got the
phrase.
state park that is on Fourth Lake.
Here's the thing, they're all in the watershed.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
But you
That's-
can't
Nobody
go-
owns the water.
Yeah, but you can't go in there and swim. That's the phrase I gotta use.
Yeah.
And same thing with Lake Bernard. There's no public access for people to go there.
I spoke to Bob Bompard. You met him, Paul, he's one of the
Yeah.
divers. And by the way, they did their 60-day filming, the 26th, last Wednesday. They found no milfoil, none,
Even up at the inlet?
even up at the end.
That's great.
They found none.
I guess my question to you
No,
is,
hold on, I gotta finish my thought or I'll forget it. So I said to Bob, I asked him, would you guys do the survey up in Lake Fair? And he said, we really don't do that kind of stuff. But he said, I would be really surprised if there isn't no file in Lake Fair. I would be really surprised if there isn't no file in that lake.
okay. This
Now-
is where my question to you was,
And that's lake number one in the chain.
this is where my question was, when I mailed that back or sent that back to you. A study was done a number of years ago on that lake. We went up and mowed it, the whole 9 yards a few years ago. And there was no signs of milfoil then. This is why I'm asking if there was no signs of it then, why do we gotta go down the chain of the lakes? This is what my question is.
And I agree with that. And I talked to Tracy that went with that, and she's gonna tell you. Number one, they don't have power boats in Lake Lenore. That's where most of it comes, stuff comes off of people's props and stuff like that. That's why they have these washing stations. You know what she said to me? Most of that milfoil that starts, it starts from birds.
It comes off of most of your darn geese and your ducks, your fowls, and that's right from is it A&E? Our pickers?
Yeah, hey,
Okay, because I took, when he was here last year, I says, what's your feeling on the whole thing? He says, for one thing, the inlet is the most infected part of the lake, that and the cove.
Right.
Okay, I says, where do you think it's coming from? He said, I guarantee it's coming right off the ducks and the geese. They're using the inlet as a vegetation and they go over in the bay over there by Pierpont. Nice quiet grounds. You've heard from Mr. Schaefer's brother over the years throwing M80s at the ducks off their docks and everything else, trying to get the geese out of there. Why? Nice place to cruise in there, good vegetation, quiet, the whole 9 yards. And that's exactly what the gentleman from A&E said. And he says, I'll bet you $5 there's nothing up the roads.
It doesn't float
Tracy.
down, it doesn't float down in the water.
yeah, it does. Well, if it's up there, it can float down.
But it's
Yeah.
not up there.
Well, that's not what you said. You said
We
it
need
doesn't
to
float
hold
down.
for the- Yes.
Now, Tracy. What's,
We got this change.
Change this.
Tracy did a paddle round
Yeah,
up in Venara late August,
okay.
since you saw none of it.
I rest my case.
Tracy, who,
Our,
Oh,
our consultant,
so,
she writes our grants for us. She's our certified lake manager. We have her on consultants.
I,
All right, so if you guys are in agreement, I'm not gonna pursue that.
I'd rather hold off for a
if
year.
you can do this. And I don't want to stop, we've spent a lot of money. The Facilicore is working great. The lake is looking great. You've done a great job and the other people that work with you on this. Okay, but at the same time, if we can hold off until next year. And get that gentleman you said will do it for us for next year.
Yeah.
Okay,
I'm in agreement.
I say we do it then.
I'm in agreement. Withdrawing my request to go ahead with the 4,600 bucks.
Yeah,
Okay, we got a pause right now.
we spent quite a chunk of change over the last couple of years into getting the lake prepared and Luzerne. And it looks like we're definitely on the right track.
I got,
Do you see a difference over there by your?
Oh, yeah.
yeah, I got an email.
Oh, we're changing the disc. Hold on, Jim, so it gets on the disc, okay?
I brought it. Yeah, apologies.
Do me a favor, Jim.
His last name is Schaefer.
Just do me a favor. That should be brought up in February or March. In regards to getting things set up for, if we decide to do I won't be here, but to do the testing up in Lake
Yeah.
Lenore.
Yeah, I don't know what happened. We did. This quote was dated January something or other.
That's what I'm saying.
We talked about it almost a year ago.
Yeah.
I don't know what happened.
Okay, we're rolling again.
All right.
Thank you.
Okay, I just want to read this email. It's
You
from-
better retract what you were asking for.
Yes.
So it's on tape.
Yeah,
It was,
You got it.
yeah.
is it on there? Okay. I got an email to share with the board. This is from Mark Schaefer. My wife and I have owned a camp on Camp Tech Road since June 2020. I've had the opportunity to observe the lake for 4 summers now. By my observation, the lake is in the best shape it's ever been over the past 4 years. Many thanks to the board, for its efforts to preserve the quality of the lake.
That's nice to hear.
As I said, the county did their 60-day after treating filming on Wednesday. And they want to come time maybe in August. But probably September, and show us that video.
I'm all favor doing, and I think it ought to be open to the public.
I'm done.
Thank you. All right, anybody else? have any-
I've taken the time to start studying the situations with the two insurance quotes.
Yeah.
Okay, I also checked with Colleen that we do not, under New York State protocol, have to go out for 3 quotes.
Wait, well, yeah.
Well,
We have it in our procurement policy.
but you're also talking $400,000. But this is for professional services,
Right.
okay?
You only need
So
two.
I-
That's why I got two.
I
got the
double checked
original
with
one,
that.
And the one I got, I called Kevin Gary in Warrensburg, and that's.
I don't want to get into it too deep because it looks like that's part of your meeting that's coming up,
Yeah, so
okay?
I will try to talk about it then.
But there is some figures in there that I'm not happy with.
Well, that's when you get time to bring them up, when we have the representatives.
You
to
guys-
find out.
Just quick, you guys want to bring up anything about that meeting you want to have?
Which meeting?
Tracy Clothier.
After.
I think you should listen to her, what she's got going.
No, the meeting about, well, with the thing I kind of lost my lid over.
What's that?
I've asked for an executive session.
You sure about that?
Could we all know what you're talking about? What are you talking?
No, let's go to executive session.
Wait.
After.
Amanda, we're-
Okay, well, after, then we should go to executive session, right?
Okay, so you're calling for an executive session.
After.
All right,
Yes.
and anything else?
Nope.
On this end,
I have one.
you have one, go ahead.
I would suggest passing a resolution at the board meeting, setting the public hearing on the amendment to the ordinance for your parks and beaches, regulations for your parks and beaches. What we
Yes.
talked about. You called me about adding the winter.
Yeah.
park to the. I would suggest setting the public hearing at your next meeting for your September meeting. So pass your resolution to set the public hearing.
Why do we have to have a,
If you amend your ordinance, you have to have a public hearing.
Have you already?
Have-
Yours?
Do you have something we can see?
You can have something by that meeting and it gives me a deadline.
Well put.
Well, before that meeting, so we can read it before we get to the meeting.
We're only setting the public hearing, so you
Oh,
have a
okay.
month to
All
look
right,
at it.
so you need
Or-
that on,
It's a suggested resolution.
this, yeah, but the resolutions that we just made, you want
gotta
to add to that. Okay, that's all right, that's fine.
We're gonna need a resolution to pay the bills of the 8th abstract.
Mhm.
We're gonna need a resolution to accept minutes and the dates will be inserted. We're going to need a resolution to add Washburn Meadows Road, which is a private road, to the inventory in order to sign per Warren County 911 system, and that would be paid for by the owner.
Mhm.
And
Right, and,
I wasn't aware of it.
no, this is the first time hearing it too, but go
I'm
ahead.
just bringing it up for the next meeting.
Okay.
And then today Cindy emailed you all about, the appointment of a second part-time deputy for the clerk's office.
Wow.
Wow. You heard what she said.
Huh?
Are you listening?
Yeah, I was.
Okay.
Is that one of your executive sessions?
Yes, it is.
Oh, okay, that's why you had to bring that out, so. Mary knows about it. All right, Karen, anything?
I have nothing.
You feeling all right?
No, about you, Ron, you gotta get moving on these things.
We took another bleeder offline. That line up on circular is now connected. Okay?
Did you clean up the mess up there too?
It's still gonna be dirt road for a little bit.
How about the rocks and everything over on,
All the rocks are taken out of there and everything.
over on the other guy's property and everything?
Yeah, up on top,
and
Yeah.
that will pull off. Yeah, those are all out of there and everything. I just gotta bring a little material and schedule it to get paid.
Good.
We put on shoulders on Daniels Road, Ralph Road today. Tomorrow, we're gonna go up to Painted Pony and fix that swale up there and blacktop that and get that done.
Good.
And then we start on culverts on Lake Tour Road and Thomas Road.
And one thing I gotta make a comment, Ron, you know, in the last 3 weeks, 4 weeks, everybody around us in Vermont, all of them, when they had that rainstorm, they got a lot of roads washed out. And I think you guys have been putting culverts in the right places and keeping them ditches clean. That we really had minor washout, mostly on little dirt roads. So I think, you should get a clap for that because I think you did a good job. No, you're after them. We're after you to do them, but you're after them and
Yeah.
keep them ditches clean.
We're
You get
trying.
them big rainstorms. Now, the only other one you got left is the one by the school.
Oh, yeah. I plan on taking those dry wells right out of the ground, redigging the
That's
dirt
good.
and re-stoning them, so.
Cause that, the water goes no place there and that's
Yeah,
why they get
Yeah,
flooded.
so I do,
That road has been underwater as long as I've been alive.
yeah.
Well, we're trying to change that because the people now, they want it done, so. Those culverts gotta come out, little bigger ones and or cleaned out.
The only way to get rid of all that water is headed for Stone's Pond. Am I right? I don't think you can put big enough dry wells in.
Yeah, I don't either.
Okay,
It is what it is. But what the school did up in their parking lot has helped.
Yeah.
So by us cleaning them out and restoring it, I think that'll help too, and, but I don't, like you said, I don't think it's gonna fix it now.
no.
It might slow it down, but I don't think it's gonna fix it.
Yeah. Anything else? All right, now we're gonna end this meeting and go into an executive session. Would you like to give us wording we need?
Don't know, the only issue I know is the appointment of the deputy town clerk, so that would be personnel.
Okay,
Is there something
And what's
else? you were
the-
discussing?
what's the other one?
Personnel,
That's it?
all personnel,
Pardon me,
Yeah,
isn't it?
mine for executive session?
Yeah,
No, my problem is I wanted to talk about when I got a little ticked off at having that special meeting with Tracy Clothier. And then when she said,
So hold on, we're not in executive session yet.
We need a motion.
we
to
need just a
move
motion to tell you what do you want?
we'll get to it, because I'm gonna get talking. I make a motion.
I second it.
All right.
Great.
mine's personal and his is something else.
Oh, Crystal shut it off.
Yes,
Personnel
it
just as
is,
well.
it
Okay.
is.
All right,
Good night.
you got a motion? You got a second? You got a motion?
Take care, Howard.
You got a
Chris,
motion
take-
from,
Take a roll, sorry, you don't do that, roll call vote, because they have to have a majority of people.
To go into executive
Yeah.
session.
okay,
Okay, Councilman Hanlon,
Yes.
Councilman Lewandowski.
Yes,
Councilman Niles.
Yes.
Supervisor Molina.
yes,
And that's to move to executive session for personnel. No action taken,
that is correct.
except to adjourn, right?
Thank you.